I'd be great at something. So, with no experience at all, I signed up. And a week later, I padded up and was running drills on the field. I never was great, but playing high school sports was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I was accepted by my teammates, and I learned that when someone believes in you, you can believe in yourself.
Encourage a student you know to take part in a high school sport. This message presented by the SDHSAA and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Adams ISC in Rapid City, South Dakota, the name you've come to trust with all of your hydraulic cylinder servicing needs. Whether it's a simple repair or replacement, no one outperforms Adams ISC. Bent rods, leaking seals, or worn out fittings, they've seen it all. At Adams ISC, they'll get you turned around and back on track in no time. Adams ISC, your hydraulic cylinder service specialist in Rapid City. Just Google Adams ISC for more information.
What can Elevate Performance do for your athlete? Brandon Drum, D2 lacrosse player at Mars Hill University.
I started going to Elevate Performance for problems with my knee, and after working with Britt, he identified some other issues that helped me prevent severe injury. Elevate's strength and conditioning program also helped me perform at a much higher level. My goal was to play college lacrosse, and I am thankful for Britt and Elevate for helping me achieve that goal. Elevate worked with me on a personal level and helped mold me into a stronger athlete.
Get your athlete started at elevateperformancesd.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Fernando Tatis Jr.'s homered for the Padres as they lead the Rockies 11-1 in the ninth inning. For Tatis, it's his career 100th home run, fourth fastest player in Major League Baseball history, the fourth player to get that 400 mark in 362 or less games. Ryan Howard, Pete Alonso, Gary Sanchez got there faster, but Fernando Tatis, home run number 100 in his career today. Braves top the Angels 12-5, Nationals over the Brewers 3-2. Tigers doubled up the Pirates 6-3. Astros won against the Guardians 3-2. Boston's up on the Mariners 3-2 as they play in the sixth inning. Blue Jays placed Bo Bichette on the injured list. A report from Yahoo Sports says the Big Ten Conference has started talking about expansion that could include as many as 4 additional schools, all coming from the Pac-12. The early talks center around Oregon, Washington, Cal, and Stanford. Jimmy Johnson will be enshrined into the NASCAR Hall of Fame as part of the class of 2024.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, here we are on a Wednesday. Welcome in. Always glad you're here. I really appreciate that. We know you have a lot of things going on, a lot of places you can go on a Wednesday afternoon, so thanks for spending some time with us. The Nate Brown Show back and ready. It's always a great day in the Black Hills. We're live on 106.7 FM, 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. However you're listening, we welcome you in. Also, you can watch the show live right now on Twitter, at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show and watch us there, at Nate Brown Show. Interact with us on Twitter. Also on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. Pull us up on your phone, smart TV, however you want to do that. The Nate Brown Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You've got us there. And, of course, streaming all the time, foxsportsrapidcity.com. So we're good to go on a Wednesday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. 2 hours solid, setting you up for baseball tonight. So we'll take you up to about 5:55. So we're solid with 2 hours of thought-provoking sports talk, and then we'll go to the Central Plains Regional. Already in action over there. Fitzgerald and Post 22 taking on Elkhorn South. Post 22 baseball tonight, 6:15 first pitch. Their first game of the Central Plains Regional. The host team, Hard Hats, in action. We'll have it. Jerome Wickersham, Dean Gurr, Matt Kearney, your broadcast team. And that's coming up tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show brought to you in part by Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, our expert team when it comes to bone, joint, muscle care in the Black Hills. More access, better options at Black Hills Ortho. Also with urgent care. Learn more at bhosc.com. Start there. Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, taking care of the weekend warrior to the elite athlete on the field right now. Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, online at bhosc.com. Stay in the game with the help of the expert team. Let's go to the great guest lineup here as we get started on a Wednesday. Heath Bell's going to join us, former All-Star closer for the San Diego Padres, former MLB closer Heath Bell, live tonight from San Diego. We'll talk Major League Baseball. Trent Condon's on tonight. He's with KXNO. That's out of Des Moines. Some Iowa sports news, which we'll start the show with, and we'll get Trent Condon's reaction. He covers the Hawkeyes. KXNO, Trent Condon straight ahead. Brian Noe on the way from South Bend, national host, Fox Sports Radio. Talking ball with Brian Noe tonight. And we'll go local with Charlie Floor, head coach, South Dakota Mines. The Hard Rockers make a pretty big announcement last night. I thought this was interesting, so we'll kind of get into that and more. Charlie Floor on the way, South Dakota Mines head football coach. So the Wednesday show ready. Let's get you on tonight if you want in on the Nate Brown Show. You've got it, 720-1067 if you want to join the program. Always willing to chat it with you. 720-1067, our number. Contribute there. Also, the listener text line, Barron's Wilson text line for you, 720-1067. 720-1067. Text the show on the Barron's Wilson text line. All right. Set and ready on a Wednesday. I've got to start with the stories out of Iowa that initially happened here. When did this first one? A couple of months ago we heard about it. And we said, well, there's some investigations going on in college athletes there in Iowa and Iowa State. And I remember reading that story, and I was on this show, and I said there were numerous athletes that may have bet on games. And initially, by the way, in that story, as they were reporting on that, it was, well, the Iowa and Iowa State athletes are under investigation for betting on sports, which you can't do as a college athlete. Whether it's on your own team or not, you cannot bet on sports at all as a college athlete. That's been the rule for a long time. Now, the NCAA is kind of adjusting things based on maybe our current day. They're adjusting things. But the story that came out a couple of months ago was, hey, Iowa State athletes are under investigation. They've been betting on sports potentially, but no indications that they're betting on their teams. That was the story initially. No indications. Well, hang on, hold the phone. As we come back here on a Wednesday, we got a couple of situations going on. One at Iowa State with a quarterback, Hunter Deckers. Okay, that's the Iowa State quarterback. Now we had this come out from the Gazette from an Iowa kicker. That's the Hawkeyes now. Go to the other side. Iowa, Aaron Bloom. And he's accused of betting as well. And here's where this goes to the next level. These are the two guys in the news today. A very interesting story. It's regional. You know, there's Hawkeyes fans around here. I think some Cyclones. We used to have some Iowa State fans call in. Iowa State quarterback is under investigation for not only betting on his own team. He did this a couple of years ago, 2021, betting on his own team, but now his investigation is tampering with that investigation. Essentially, maybe, obstructing an investigation is how the story goes. So that's the Iowa State quarterback. Allegations of betting on his own team. And then when things were kind of being investigated, like, well, no, that wasn't me. That was my parents. And and allegations of the parent also helping, trying to cover this up. Like, yeah, no, this wasn't the case. And so when a sports gambling investigation is going on, it appears potentially the allegation is the Iowa State quarterback, Hunter Deckers, tried affecting and impacting that investigation. And so now you've got this situation. That's Iowa State. That's the QB. Now over at Iowa, the kicker. The word is he bet also on his own team. That's, I believe, takes it to another level, in my opinion. The NCAA also states that as they come out with kind of new rules around sports gambling. We touched on that here on the show just a few weeks ago. The NCAA knew that, hey, there's athletes that are potentially betting on sports. Yeah, you think? So we have to kind of get a handle on how are we going to treat this. And so there's various penalties now that the NCAA is ready to hand down. Now, before it was just you couldn't do it whatsoever. That's a no-no. You're suspended the whole thing. Now the NCAA, well, if you do it once and you like betting on pro sports, here's the penalty. And it's not you're done for the rest of your career. It's kind of a tiered system. But the deal is this. There was a statement in that NCAA rule coming down on sports gambling. The recommendations are, they haven't cleared these yet. They're going to vote on them. The recommendations are, if you bet on your own team, that could pop you for the rest of your college eligibility. So that's the kicker here with this Iowa State piece and the Iowa kicker. Iowa State QB allegations in the sports investigation is he bet on his own team, and then he tried impacting the investigation. That's kind of the backstory there. Then the Iowa kicker placed approximately 8 bets on Iowa sporting events and his own team. Okay, he did Iowa sports, but he did do his own team in at least one bet, they say in this story, the Iowa kicker. And so now you take this to the level of, is the Iowa State quarterback done? Is he done for the rest of his college career? Is the Iowa kicker, Aaron Blum, is he done for the rest of his career? And my question of the day is that just the way it has to be? If you're betting on your own team, are you on board? They're done for the rest of their college career. Okay, the NCAA is tweaking their rules, but they still kept that one in. If you're caught betting on your own team, you could lose your permanent college eligibility. Do you believe that's the way it has to be? Because these two guys might have a big problem. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Well, Nate, I'm one of them guys that when I hear, blame the parents, I'm like, you idiots.
Okay.
But I would blame the parents on this one. Who in the heck raised their kids to bet on Iowa State or Iowa?
Are you joking? All right.
No, I'm not, Nate.
Oh,
I've been a Nebraska fan since Bob Devaney showed up in 1961. You know what my dad told me about 1964 when I wanted to bet on a Nebraska game? He goes, you're starting to act like your mother's side of the family. And I looked at him and I go, what do you mean, Pops? And he goes, never bet on Nebraska. Good Lord.
Did you take that lesson?
He was right.
Did you take that lesson? No.
I did, Nate. I've never bet on Nebraska.
Huh?
I did it. Well, I did in, I don't know why, 1981 Orange Bowl.
Oh. Wow.
Deal. We had the best team.
Wow.
And Tom Osborne blew 3 calls there at the end, and I lost $500. I don't know if you knew what $500 was.
Wow.
In 1981, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
and
a biggie.
And I had to explain it to my wife.
That's a biggie.
But
answer this question, would you, Steve? So if you bet on your own team, NCAA says you could be done for the rest of your career. Is that correct?
That's wrong. Just like I think it was wrong about Pete Rose. Penalize him. Keep the kid out a year. He loses a year of eligibility. Okay. Pete Rose, come on. He should be in the Hall of Fame. That's that and Barry Bonds.
All right. I see where you're at. You say don't hit him permanently. All right.
No, hit him for a year. You lose that year. And you still got to maintain, they don't even go to school no more, so forget that.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Have a great day,
Appreciate
Nate.
it. Thanks for getting in as you get us started on a Wednesday. The Nate Brown Show on tonight. And our question of the day is, if you're a college athlete like the Iowa State QB who's under investigation here, betting on his own team, Iowa kicker under investigation, betting on his own team at least once, and then betting on Iowa sports. Maybe he won a little more off the basketball side. I don't know. But hang on a second. Do you relinquish your eligibility permanently? That's what I'd like to know. And I believe I have an answer for you after I take another call. Okay? I have my opinion. We all are welcome to share our opinions, just like our next caller. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate.
Hey.
First time, long time.
I like it.
So I think that if the rules are very spelled out, these kids know the rules.
Yep.
Gambling, yes, it's part of society. It's advertised to us in every facet of life. However, each of these athletes know what is at stake. And if you're betting on your own team, a year of eligibility being gone, I'm perfect with it. I rarely agree with your last caller on most things. I will agree with this one.
Really?
A lifetime ban's a little too long. Just let the kids sit a year. That's a pretty good penalty. I was 18 and probably did stupid stuff too. So
probably. Thanks, man. Good to hear from you. Thanks for getting in. I have an opinion on this, and I'm going to go. I'm going to tell you about the tiered system that the NCAA's come up with here. They've come up with, if you bet on sports, then you are going to be popped, and it's tiered for half of a season, okay? And then you have to do some education like, hey, don't do this. Here's what's at stake. You can't do this. Do you got it? Okay, that's what the NCAA is recommending, because they know that they've had student athletes doing this over the last couple of years when it's kind of exploded nationwide. And so they said, hey, maybe our old rule of you just can't do it or you're done isn't going to work. They're telling you can't do it, but we're going to go tiered. You bet on sports, you're going to go half a season, and then you work it down. But the end of the story is the NCAA still feels very strongly today that if you're getting caught on betting on your own team, that's a cardinal sin. That's the one that's going to get you popped for your college eligibility, potentially. Like, they don't put it in there and say, you're done without a doubt, but they say, if you bet on your own team, this is a possibility, college eligibility gone. And I have to say, I'm okay with that major warning. I'm telling you, you know it going in, okay? And I'm not going to say these guys, they might not get popped under those new rules because it happened before that was in place, okay? So the rule was don't bet on sports. You could lose your eligibility. That was the blanket rule. Now they're going tiered system, but I'm still okay with the NCAA saying we can't have Johnny betting on his own team. You just have to send the message. I don't know if a year is enough. Maybe it is, but I can't have it. So I don't know. The Iowa State guy, I think he's in some trouble. That's the QB, because then he impeded the investigation on top of it. So he's like, oh, no, it was my parents. It was under their account. and that got a little ugly from the reporting I see over the last 24 hours. So he might be done. I don't know. The Iowa kicker bet on his own team once, they say. I don't know where that goes. But I think from here on out, the NCAA might have to send that, because the reason I say it, guys, NFL has big problems with it, and you know the college athletes are going to be doing it. So you have to send the message. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Well, I say if you've been on any sport, pro or college, as an athlete, but it's not your own team, 1 year ban.
Okay, 1 year.
Your team,
sport, okay.
Yeah, 1 year ban. If it's your own team, lifetime. And I say that because you can't influence the outcome of another sporting event if it's not your team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, you can bet money, but, however much. I don't even care how much. You don't even have to have a limit on it. But when it's your own team, then you're putting a risk of influencing the depending on which way you bet, the loss or a win of your own team, and that would destroy college athletics or professional, for that matter.
I'm with you on that. The integrity of the sport could be sacrificed. It could be compromised.
Because
it could be.
Because you could, you definitely could, especially if you're a quarterback, you could influence the outcome overthrow a few passes, throw a few picks.
A kicker? Yes.
A kicker.
Yes.
If you're a basketball player, miss a few free throws, miss a couple layups. Strike out if you're a baseball player. Make a couple errors, drop a couple fly balls. So that is affecting the integrity of the game if it's your own team, because you can influence that. You can't influence other games that you're not involved in. So to me, that's the reason for the 1 year versus
I got
the
you on that. Yeah, I got you on that. I think that's pretty good. Thanks for getting in.
Okay.
I think that's pretty accurate. That's why I think I'm going to go rarely with the NCAA on this. Rarely do I go with the NCAA, as you might know. Smart guys, but maybe not so much sometimes. And I'm going to go with the NCAA on it. You bet on your own team. And I'm not going to say it's just everybody's betting on their own team to lose. I'm not telling you that. But we just can't even go down that road. You just can't even go down that road. If I'm the Iowa State quarterback, I'm betting on my team to win. I'm betting on the Cyclones to win. I can't have it. You just can't have the own team involved. The NCAA, I think, is going to be nice by saying, well, if you bet on sports in general, like other college sports or whatever, we'll take away half a season, your first infraction. They're saying they're saying a half a season. That's the recommendation on a first infraction at an education class. That's being nice. Prior years, you were in a big problem if they found that out. Okay, the NCAA has always had this, big problem with sports gambling. We know this. And then all the schools said, hey, we're signing deals with sports books and we're making some money off this. Well, maybe we should change our tune a little bit. And I understand the hypocrisy. I get it. But I can't have you bet on your own team. So I'm going to say permanent college eligibility gone. If you're betting on your own team, that's the big warning shot. You've got to know it going in. I just can't do it. Let's see. What do you say to this? Do you believe college athlete who places a bet involving their own team should be banned for the rest of their college career, meaning permanent loss of their college eligibility? That's what's on the table if you bet on your own team, a recommendation from the NCAA. Do you agree with it? 60% say yes, it has to be that way. 40% give the kids a second chance. And I knew some people, it is easy to say, yeah, we're smart now. I'm an adult. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know everything now. So it's easy to say that, and now you put yourself as a kid. Would you have done this as a kid? Sports gambling is widely accepted as it is. Well, guess what? I hate to break it to you. I probably would have. I'm not telling you I'm the quarterback at Iowa State. But if it's prevalent and you see all the buddies are doing it, I told you this. I had a source at a big-time Division I football program, and I asked him, how many guys are betting on sports there? This is a big-time football program. He was telling me 40%. He told me 40%. He didn't say betting on their own team or anything like this. He's like, I'm guessing it's like 40% of the guys. That's what I mean. We put ourselves in the kids' position back in the day. When you're a kid and you have sports gambling prevalent, I know it's always been around, but not like this. It's accepted. It's right there. You got to deal with the sports book at the university. And now the kids are, of course they're going to do this stuff. I mean, that's just the culture. It really is. Let's see. Listener text, Decker, the QB at Iowa State, is done as a college athlete, period. The kid has a gambling problem. He started doing this when he was 20. Had over 300 bets. His mom even helped trying to hide the fact of his transgressions, that it was his betting. I'll tell you, it's an interesting thing. Listener text, if you bet on any sport, pro or college, 1 year, I'm going to say bet on your own team, lifetime ban. Okay? What do you say here? 60% say it has to be that way. Permanent college eligibility loss if you bet on your own team. 40% say give them a second chance. Really interesting scenario. This is the story. Iowa kicker accused of underage sports wagering, betting on his own team at least once. Iowa State quarterback betting on his own team. And then the allegation is impeding the investigation when they were looking into it. And by the way, does anybody wonder, is this just happening in Iowa? No way. I mean, so let's get a grip on this. I feel like Iowa and Iowa State are kind of getting thrown under the bus here, and whatever athletes. Just let's be careful on that. I love how everybody's like, oh, Iowa and Iowa State, they got a big problem. Newsflash. That D1 program I was telling you about, okay, that wasn't Iowa or Iowa State, just so you're aware. Okay? So it's going on. Iowa and Iowa State just in the news because, boy, the investigators there have really taken a look at this. What happens to the athletes moving forward? I'm just going to say it has to be a strong punishment involving your own team, and unfortunately, that's a college eligibility loss for me. Brian Noe's on the way, Fox Sports Radio national host. Let's get at it with him next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Santa is back. It's Christmas in July 2023, and Renewal by Andersen is giving the best gift ever this year. First, you get 20% off every window and patio door. And get this, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. That means no payments until 2025. But act fast. Santa and the reindeer can't take the heat. This offer ends August 15th. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Andersen's Christmas in July sale is here. Thank you, Santa.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Overcast skies tonight with a slight chance for scattered storms. Lows dip down to about 67. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms likely. High temperatures reach up to 82. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow night. Lows level off around 62. Cloudy skies expected. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 90.
Black Hills Harley-Davidson presents the Rally at Exit 55, the largest V-Twin Expo on the planet. Find the world's largest selection of Harley-Davidsons for sale under the big tent. Then step inside their massive showroom filled with everything Harley-Davidson, including some discontinued merchandise marked up to 50% off. Plus, over 100 of the V-Twin industry's best vendors are here on the lot selling and installing the latest upgrades for your ride. The Rally at Exit 55 opens every day at 8 a.m. at Black Hills Harley-Davidson in Rapid City.
Save big with 11% off everything at Menards. Get a beautiful view with new windows from Jeld-Wen. They're durable, energy efficient, and low in maintenance. Come check out our great selection of over 100 sizes and styles in stock and ready to take home today. Get a 48 by 36-inch vinyl sliding window for $159 after 11% rebate. Good through August 6th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Tin Lizzy BetMGM Sportsbook is your home for the best sports betting experience in South Dakota. They have great food, great service, and great 4K TVs. There's not a bad seat in the house. And every game is on at Tin Lizzy. Bet on your favorite teams and watch the game, have a cold one, and enjoy summer in the Black Hills. BetMGM Sportsbook at Tin Lizzy, the king of sportsbooks. What game are you betting on? Make your play at Tin Lizzy, Main Street, Deadwood.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
This isn't just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger?
Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show, just getting fired up on a Wednesday. We're going to go to Iowa, talk to Trent Condon. He covers the Hawkeyes, KXNO Des Moines. I want to get his read on this Iowa State QB in the news, allegations he bet on his own team, Hunter Deckers. And then the news came out this afternoon that the Iowa kicker also bet, and at least one of his bets was on his own team. Where are the punishment's going to go here? The NCAA says their recommendations are moving forward. If you bet on your own team, permanent loss of eligibility could be the punishment. Is that fair to you? Is my question of the day. The Nate Brown Show with Brian Noe tonight. Let's get at it. Fox Sports Radio's Brian Noe. Countdown to kickoff host. That's coming up, man. Football, man. Here we go. He's going to be on Fox Sports Rapid City every weekend. You hear him right here, right now, at The Noe Show on Twitter. Brian, good to have you. How are you?
I'm great, Nate. Shout out to the Black Hills. Is it still a dry heat over there right now?
Yes, it is somewhat dry, and I thought of you. I went to Mount Rushmore last weekend, and I said, Brian Noe just loves the Black Hills. He would love to be here at Mount Rushmore being a tourist.
Oh, man, I would love to be back there at Mount Rushmore and hopefully not have to, greatly elude a deer as we left Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, you gotta go up there early, Brian. See, then you're safe. Let me get to this Iowa State story. I just want to get your read on it. I know you cover the NFL. We talk a lot of NFL. But I want to go to this gambling and sports thing. We're seeing college athletes that are gambling on sports. I'm not surprised. It's prevalent. Universities even have deals with sports books. Everybody has deals with sports books. I do, right? I mean, everybody does. So the athletes are betting. If you have an athlete betting on his own team, is a permanent loss of college eligibility the right way to go? That's my question of the day.
Man, when you initially said it, I'm like, that's pretty heavy-handed, but you start thinking about it where you think about the Pete Rose days, and of course he was lying right, for years and years and years about betting at all. But then he said he was only betting on his own team. I think that, Nate, in order to really get things on the up and up, I think it's got to be a strong, strong penalty. I could see, look at the NFL. The NFL, it's a year-long suspension if you bet on the NFL.
Yep.
I think that makes more sense in college, even though I understand for it to stick and you really want to have a significant penalty, I think that would be it. I do think that goes a bit too far. I'd be in favor of a year, maybe 2 years, but you're a freshman and you bet on your squad to win, and your college career is over? That just seems like too much to me.
Okay, I had a caller call in, and I agreed with him. He said, the reason if you bet on your own team, Brian, it has to be the permanent loss of college eligibility is it has to be that big penalty because the integrity of your team and college sports is at question then. And it's just an absolute mess if we have that.
Well, that's true, but again, you go back to the NFL. So should that be your career is over, or keep it the same as college? It's a 4-year ban. It's a 3-year ban. That just goes too far. So I totally understand the integrity of the game and the perception, and I get all of that. I also think it could be a gateway drug where if you're only allowed to bet on your team, well, then it's going to plant the seed that you might want to bet on the other team, right? So you have got to absolutely stop that before it even begins. So I get that you have to have a significant punishment. I still think that rises to the degree of being overkill. I think a year, 2 years, maybe, but permanent loss, no, I think that goes too far.
Brian Noe on tonight, Fox Sports Radio, here on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City. Let's go to the NFL. So I think this top 100 player list, the NFL top 100, it comes out every year. It's voted on by NFL players. I think these guys are clueless this year. They are clueless. They got Justin Fields ranked ahead of Trevor Lawrence. They have Lamar Jackson ranked behind, like Dak Prescott, behind Jared Goff. Lamar Jackson. I mean, what's going on?
Well, I agree with that. I think Lamar Jackson's the most overrated player in the entire NFL.
Huh?
Yeah. Lamar Jackson's injuries are up and his numbers are down. That guy has. So you should look this up, Nate. I think it's 33 the last 2 years. Lamar Jackson, 33 touchdown passes, 20 interceptions. You know the guy who has 34 touchdown passes and 20 interceptions? Ryan Tannehill. That's the zip code that Lamar Jackson has been in the last 2 years. So he's got the highlight plays. He definitely has talent. There's no doubt about that. And overrated doesn't mean he can't play. It just means that the reputation is rosier than the reality. And that is Lamar Jackson to a T.
Look out.
I'm not telling you can't turn it around this year, Nate, but these last 2 years, no, man. He's injured for 5 games. At least he missed the playoff game, and his numbers rival Tannehill. And his reputation is still pristine with most people. No, man, completely overrated.
Okay, can I get you on this one? The NFL players voted Geno Smith higher than Trevor Lawrence. Can you please explain?
Yeah, that's too much. I can't buy that one. What was the first one that you said? It was Justin Fields over who?
Trevor Lawrence, same thing. Justin Fields better than Trevor. Yeah.
Why? What's with all the Trevor Lawrence criticism right there? I don't understand that. He had a really good season.
It's the hair. They don't like his hair. I mean, it's got to be
the hair. Would it help if he went man bun, or if he just wore it the way he does?
No.
Oh
boy.
I think you're
don't
right.
bring the man bun out. By the way, last one on this NFL Top 100 list. The players voted Kirk Cousins as the 6th best quarterback in the league. He's only behind the Big Five: Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Pat Mahomes. And then it's Kirk Cousins on this list. I thought that was pretty high. I think Kirk's top 10, but number 6?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think he's top 10, but 6th overall, Look, man, the guy puts up numbers, but he can't move around that well, and he's not Mr. Improvisation, So there are holes in his game, but, yeah, I think he's good enough with the production that you see on a yearly basis. I definitely think that he's in the top 10, right around that area, but yeah, it's weird because that swings the other way. A lot of people talk trash about Kirk Cousins. He's an easy target. And, man, this list is swinging the other way. I can't make heads or tails of this list. It keeps me guessing.
Yeah, it's wild. Top 100 list voted on by the players. NFL Network releases it. They give you 10 players each weekday. So, and it keeps coming out. Kirk Cousins climbed 15 spots up this year. Okay, let me go to this Broncos situation and the Nathaniel Hackett situation. I need an unbiased, objective viewer here. So I said Sean Payton. I'm obviously rooting for him. I think that was the home run hire. That was the guy I wanted from the start. Nobody said the Broncos could get him. We ended up getting him. I think it's going to be great. But he steps in it by saying it was maybe the worst coaching job in NFL history that Nathaniel Hackett did, and didn't mention any names, but he, went down that road. Hackett says yesterday he broke the code. I mean, that's just, it's unfortunate, and he just broke the coaching code and, shouldn't have done that. I think that looks soft to me, but where are you at? Did Sean Payton really step over the line?
Yeah, listen, I think that Sean Payton, the next day after the story came out, there's a reason why he said, yeah, I regret that. I should have had a filter there. I still had my Fox analyst hat on, which is kind of interesting, Nate. He didn't say anything as a Fox analyst because he was trying to get his next gig. He didn't want to rock the boat. And then he got his gig with the Broncos. Then he was unfiltered. If I were Fox, I'd be like, where was that when you were employed here? But anyway, I think that Sean Payton definitely was talking to a friend in Jarrett Bell as if he wasn't on the record. And I do like that we got the truth. I do like that we got his honest assessment. But it wasn't probably the right thing to say. I think you can be correct and still be wrong at the same time. And I think most of what Sean Payton said was correct, but it was wrong to say because he had to walk it back. Because he said, I regret that, and I should have had a filter. And you're right, for Nathaniel Hackett to come out and be like, yeah, he broke the code. And you're right, it does sound soft. He should have just been like, look, man, he can say what he wants. I like what Saleh said. The head coach was like, he can say what he wants. I'm not going to, respond to any of that. That was a lot stronger than what Hackett said.
Okay, here's my read on Sean Payton. I don't think it was an accident. I think he's trying to say, hey, the players here, this wasn't your fault. I still believe in you guys. A lot of these, you guys can turn this around, namely Russell Wilson. So I'm your boy. We're going to roll together. You just had a really bad coach. That's how I read it, to say, hey, it's time. You guys aren't as bad as people say you were.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, I mean, if you really start to think about it, why would Sean Payton just be disgusted about the job Nathaniel Hackett did last season? He's got to clean up the mess. There might have been some habits that were established that he's got to. It'd be like taking over a house that was just trashed, and they let the cats go to the bathroom in the house. You know what I mean? I think that might be where the animosity comes from. But, yeah, there might be something to it where he's showing that he's got the back of his players. Some say it's to, like Rodgers said, I disagreed with him, for this to be some sort of softer landing spot if they don't get it done.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
This is Sean Payton, big name. This is Russell Wilson, big name. If those guys don't get it done, it's not like we're going to say, hey, remember the article in USA Today like a year ago? Like, he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt if they don't get it done.
No, it's no longer Nathaniel Hackett's fault. Sorry to break it to you. It's not going to be Hackett's fault if they struggle again. Brian Noah tonight, Fox Sports Radio. Getting set, man. Countdown to kickoff coming up soon. Always appreciate you coming on.
I'm fired up for it, Nate. Always fired up to be with you, and ultimately fired up to be one with the Black Hills.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Brian Noah tonight, The No Show on Twitter. Follow him. Fox Sports Radio national host here on the Nate Brown Show. He is on Fox Sports Rapid City a lot. Good stuff. Brian Noah, always solid. Getting us started on a Wednesday. Let's update that poll question. Do you believe any college athlete who places a bet involving their own team should lose college eligibility permanently? Betting on your own team, should you lose college eligibility permanently? Still 60% say yes, it has to be that way. 60% holding, 40% no, give them a second chance. Listener text coming in, 720-1067, Barron's Wilson text line. As the saying goes, the cover-up's always worse than the crime. The QB at Iowa State and his mom trying to hide evidence is his downfall. All right. It's an interesting story. Iowa's been saying, hey, there's been athletes betting on sports, and the investigation kind of opens up here a couple of days, or I should say in one day, with a couple of athletes, one at Iowa State, one at Iowa, being named in potential their problems of betting on their own team. A kicker at Iowa and a QB, Hunter Deckers, at Iowa State. When he was a backup, he was the backup at Iowa State when he did this. I don't think it matters much, but just putting it in perspective. Coming right back, let's go to it with Trent Condon. What's the reaction out there in Iowa? Iowa State. What's the reaction with this story? Trent Condon covers the Hawkeyes. KXNO, Des Moines, on the way next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show, on FoxSportsRapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
For 84 years, Pomps Tire Service has been providing best-in-class service and value. We have grown to over 200 locations and are one of a few service providers that buy tires manufacturer direct. We are proud to pass those savings on to you, our customers. Pomps, the tire and service professionals, family-owned since 1939. Through August 31st, get up to $130 in rebates on select Firestone tires, up to $140 in rebates on select Bridgestone tires, or up to $240 in rebates on select Goodyear tires. See store for details or visit us at pompstire.com.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, we keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise, and treatment. So keep exploring, keep making memories, keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
I've been with Pioneer Bank around 11 years now, but I've used them for my business for the last 5 years. When I decided to be able to go into this business, I worked with Joni, who helped me get set up with banking for my business and just helping me figure out what I need to do to navigate being self-employed. Banking with Pioneer Bank makes me feel like that small town that I grew up in. They're just like family. They're there to help take care of you and to help you be successful. Pioneer Bank and Trust is local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Talking with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales. Now, these Drove Light campers from Travel Light, they're an absolute gem of a camper, Brian.
They sure are, Charlie. We're very proud to feature these Drove Light campers from Travel Light. The materials and engineering in these campers is simply top-notch.
And they sure look awesome, too.
Yes, they do. There's no wood in the construction of these Drove Lights. It's all aluminum and fiberglass, so nothing to rot or mold. And of course, that keeps them super lightweight. These all weigh well under 2,000 pounds, which allows so much flexibility in vehicles to pull these guys.
So compact to midsize SUVs and small pickups can pull these with ease.
Exactly. A lightweight, well-built camper that has virtually everything you need. Kitchen, refrigerator, range, sink, shower, toilet, even an electric awning. Drove Lights check all the boxes. It's time to head for the hills and do it in affordable comfort.
Drove Lights by Travel Light. Now at Anytime Auto Sales, everybody. See AnytimeAnytime.com or at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting heard weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
Hey, welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Glad you're here. How you doing on this Wednesday? It's always a great day in the Black Hills. We know that. Thanks for spending some time with us. The Nate Brown Show, always here on Fox Sports Rapid City, weekdays 4 to 6. If you missed some of the show, some of the guests, local, regional, national, we don't repeat guests or play them back or record segments and play them back, try and give you new content. So if you miss anybody, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. A lot of people downloading that. Listen when you can. We appreciate it. It's all good stuff there. The Nate Brown Show podcast on all the podcast platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get it. The Nate Brown Show podcast available for you. Heath Bell coming up from San Diego, former Major League Baseball All-Star closer for the Padres. Talk to Heath Bell straight ahead. Trent Condon on tonight from Iowa, KXNO. It's a nice station down there. Do a nice job. Out of Des Moines. Find him on Twitter at Trent Condon. Let's talk Iowa State here. Trent, good to have you back on. How are you?
I'm doing well, Nate. How about yourself? How are things up there north?
We're doing good, man. Enjoying summer and things heating up. I'm going to ask you something here first about this Iowa State thing. And I stuck up for Iowa State because the allegations are, okay, the QB at Iowa State, the allegations are he made all these bets and some of them on his own team. Then this Iowa kicker, was a backup kicker at the time, at least placed one bet on his own team and placed other bets on Iowa sports. And so I said, it's not just Iowa. So you give me a sense. You cover sports gambling. You bet on sports, as many of us do. What is it, do you believe in Iowa with the sports betting investigations where everybody's like, oh, Iowa and Iowa State have a big problem? I'm telling you, it's not just them. So why is it hot in Iowa?
Well, the reason and how this all started is because of a complaint that came to the Iowa Department of Criminal Investigation, the Iowa DCI, and they had to open up an investigation. The way that the story has been relayed to me is a member of the Iowa baseball team was using his mom's account, his mom's name, to open up a sports gambling account, Garrett Christensen, and he was one of the 3 players that was named here by falsifying information. There was something that happened on the account, though. Mom thought that there was something that happened where she was getting hacked, that there was some kind of identity theft. Well, it was actually her son putting more money into the account, but she didn't know that. The investigation started. When the DCI started looking into it, they noticed, oh, this is an Iowa baseball player. We need to do more. We have to see if there's something involved with game fixing. Is there something involved with point shaving? Now, the good news for both Iowa and Iowa State is there has been absolutely nothing that has come down from the DCI that says that there is those things happening. This is not game fixing. This is not point shaving. That's not what this is. More than anything, this is using other people's name, falsifying information to open up a gambling account or gambling underage. That is where it comes from. But it all started with the DCI here in the state of Iowa. And though if they had jurisdiction in Wisconsin and South Dakota and Minnesota and Nebraska and Missouri and on and on and on, you know they would find it. They only are able to do it, obviously, though, in our state.
Okay, that's interesting, and I'm with you on that. So, nonetheless, this Iowa State quarterback, for example, the allegations are, well, he was betting on his own team in the sports and then impeded the sports gambling investigation. That seems like a big problem there. How do you think that impacts maybe, I guess, his career? It sounds like that's a problem.
Yeah, his career at the NCAA level is over. Gambling on your own team is a huge no-no. And even if you're not playing, you just can't do that. And that is the reason, though he did not play in the game that he bet on, the 2021 Oklahoma State game, that is an absolute automatic barring from the NCAA. And we've been hearing for months Hunter Decker's name, though Iowa State quarterback. He has been kind of at the forefront. Reason for that, A, he's a quarterback. So when the rumor mill starts churning, but also the way that the family has handled the investigation. His parents, in fact, they had on their home, they were looked into, and though we don't know exactly what the details are, there was a warrant that was handed out at their home. So you had that component, and that was out a couple of months ago. So everybody was pretty easily able to connect the dots, but I've also heard a lot of things about the family not being exactly forthright about information right away, about what they were doing, how this was being done. There was a story relayed to me by somebody involved in the investigation that one of the parents of Hunter Decker said, oh, no, we drive to Ames, to see Hunter a couple of times a week. And when we're there, yeah, we'll make a couple of bets. Here's the problem. Hawarden is 4 hours away from Ames. I don't exactly anticipate that many parents of college-age kids are going a couple of times a week and making an 8-hour round trip drive to go see their kid a couple of times a week and then dabble a little bit in a little sports gambling on their app while they're there. It just didn't pass the test, and certainly this is something where we've heard a lot of NAIA schools that he has reached out to because we're the NCAA. It doesn't matter what level you're talking about, his career is over.
Okay, that's my next question. Trent Condon joins us, KXNO, out of Des Moines. Has a great show there. Find him on Twitter at Trent Condon. My question of the day, I put it up on Twitter, and we always ask the audience. I said, do you believe college athletes who place bets on their own team should have the permanent loss of college eligibility? Because that's what the NCAA is looking at here. It's permanent loss of college eligibility betting on your own team. I've said this. I bet on sports. I enjoy it. I have a good time with it. I don't do it every day, the whole thing, but I do it. I enjoy it. So I'm thinking of myself. I'm 19, 20, and now 21. You got to be 21. If the world was how it is now, would I have done this? Well, if I'm playing on the team, I don't know. I can't say that, but I'll tell you, it's rampant across college campuses. I mean, it's just off the charts. And so I'm trying to relate that to, is it too harsh, the permanent loss? I don't think it is, but listeners have told me, hey, I think they should just get a year like the NFL. Where are you at?
It's a very difficult one because I am a daily sports wagerer. We were having some fun today during my radio show, and I looked back over the last calendar year, how much I bet, how many bets that I made. I'm a volume player. I got action every single day, and I do it a lot. And that information, that inside information that you get as a player on a team, even if you're not going to play, from the Iowa situation, the backup kicker who didn't play in 2021. Well, he made a smart bet. He bet the under in the Iowa Hawkeye game. That's smart, right? That's smart gambling. And it's a smart thing. It's something that I've certainly made a lot of money on the last couple of years, betting the under. But you just can't do it. The inside information and just the game-fixing angle that it can be, the information that these guys have, knowing who's injured, who's out, who's available, who's sick, all these different things, just what the mood of the team is, it's too inside. And the other part that I also struggle with is these guys know. They absolutely know that this is a huge no-no. Your first day that you go in and you're going into camp, one of the first meetings that you have is a 3-hour, at least at the University of Iowa, a 3-hour class about the no's of sports wagering. And this is 25 years ago when I was going to college, and my friends that were on teams said it was one of the most boring classes, but there was no ambiguity about this. You absolutely know this is a huge no-no. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You cannot do anything as it pertains to sports gambling. They knew, and they certainly knew, that gambling on their own team is wrong. I think that is the one where you say, yes, your college career has to be over, at least at the NCAA level, because you had to know.
Yeah, I'm going to stay with that, Trent. It's interesting. You bet on sports, I bet on sports, and we both say, well, if you're betting on your own team, I feel that does bring in the integrity, or at least the problem, the potential of the integrity of the whole sport, the whole game there. And I think that's it's got to be a major, major penalty. So I'm going to say permanent loss from the NCAA college eligibility if you bet on your own team. We'll see where this goes. Iowa kicker and the Iowa State quarterback in the investigation being accused of placing bets on their own team. Trent Condon on tonight, KXNO, Des Moines. Last one for you. So give me a sense here. Iowa's fine in the Big Ten. I want to talk actual football now. Iowa's Big Ten. Yeah. What about this Big 12 scenario? Do you think the Big 12 is in great shape with, if they can get Arizona, if they can get Utah, Arizona State, Colorado, do you feel, is the Big 12 going to be with the big boys, the Big 10 and the SEC?
We know financially they are certainly going to still lag behind. I mean, there is just the cut between what the SEC and Big Ten are going to get and are getting financially and everybody else. It is a huge one. But they have solidified themselves not only as the number 3 league out of the Power 5, if you will, but they maybe set themselves in a way where it's going to become a Power 3, and they can be that third conference where they can go and not only add Arizona, but add a couple of more. If the Big Ten does raid the Pac-12 for Oregon and Washington, they can get the scraps there, and they can become that number 3 league. And from where they were just 2 years ago after the announcement of Texas and Oklahoma, and it looked like the remaining programs were going to be left holding the bag and looking for their own places to go. The Big 12 has done an incredible job of actually getting themselves in a position. The ACC, if it collapses, and that's what Florida State certainly wants, as we found out today, along with Clemson, if it plays out in that fashion, you cobble together a couple remaining Pac-12 schools, a couple remaining schools from the ACC. You put together a great basketball league, a solid number 3 football league, and you're yourself in a really good position going forward, college athletics, as it continues to evolve to be that third and leave the ACC and the Pac-12 in the dust.
Yeah, it's interesting, Trent. It might be 3 super conferences, maybe 2 super conferences and a third right there on the doorstep. Trent Condon tonight from KXNO. Great show and really good station down there. Trent, thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Always good to talk with you, Nate.
Thanks a lot. Trent Condon tonight, KXNO, out of Iowa. Find him on Twitter at Trent Condon, talking Hawkeyes and Cyclones today. The story of the day, Iowa State quarterback Hunter Dekkers under investigation, betting on his own team from a couple of years ago. Iowa kicker for the Hawkeyes, Aaron Blum, under investigation making bets on Iowa sports and then at least one bet on Iowa football. Will it be permanent loss of eligibility? I'm guessing so. The NCAA's not a fan of betting on your own team. They're not a fan of betting at all. They like the sportsbook advertising that they get, right? But they don't want to go down that road. All right, we're going to go to Major League Baseball closer Heath Bell, all-star for the San Diego Padres, one of the great closers for the Padres throughout his years. Let's talk Major League Baseball, and I'm going to get this out. Speaking of Major League Baseball, I am a walking example today. I was thinking this, early morning thoughts. I am an example of how Major League Baseball has had missteps over the years. I'll explain next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show.
Santa is back. It's Christmas in July 2023, and Renewal by Andersen is giving the best gift ever this year. First, you get 20% off every window and patio door. And get this, no money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. That means no payments until 2025. But act fast. Santa and the reindeer can't take the heat. This offer ends August 15th. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Andersen's Christmas in July sale is here. Thank you, Santa.
City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Overcast skies tonight with a slight chance for scattered storms. Lows dip down to about 67. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. Cloudy skies tomorrow. Scattered thunderstorms likely. High temperatures reach up to 82. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow night. Lows level off around 62. Cloudy skies expected. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 90.
For more than 70 years, Consolidated Construction has ingrained their business into the community. When you choose Consolidated, you choose a proud business born in the Dakotas that understands every project is much more than a building. It's a community. It's your business launch pad. It's your hard work coming to life. Each project has a true purpose. Consolidated will work to ensure that there's a quality experience for all who are involved. Learn more about Consolidated Construction at onecalltobuild.com.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear, Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Do you find yourself in a difficult legal situation? Whether it's a DUI, criminal charges, or an injury case, you need the right lawyer on your side. That's where Wrench Law comes in. With over 30 years of experience, Tim Wrench is a trial lawyer who knows the ins and outs of the legal system. Tim specializes in helping people in a jury trial get the best possible outcome for the case. Don't let legal troubles get in the way of your life. Contact Wrench Law today and get the help you need to move forward. Wrench Law, who you need when you're caught in a bind. Call 605-341-1111.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're a part of the program. I appreciate that. However much time you spend with us, good to go. Thanks for being here. 106.7 FM, 1150 AM on the radio side, the Black Hills Sports Station. Fox Sports line up the best, right? I don't just say that. It's the best. All right. Good stuff with Heath Bell tonight. Former Major League Baseball closer, great player for the Padres, great career in the big leagues. He has a podcast, Ring the Bell. Covers the Padres, talks some Padres baseball and more. Heath Bell back on the Nate Brown Show. Heath, good to have you back on. How are you?
Good to be back. I'm doing pretty good.
Good, man. I appreciate it. So MLB trade deadline happened, and want your read on a couple of things here. Some pitchers on the move. So you give me your perspective. Max Scherzer, 38. He's getting up there. He's going to the Rangers. Can Max still spin it? Is that a good play for the Rangers?
I think it is because the Rangers have a really good pitching staff, but Max Scherzer is going to a team that has a good pitching staff, and he doesn't have to be the ace he once was, but he does have ace-like maturity of doing this before, taking a team all the way to the World Series, helping other teams out. So just like the clubhouse preference, him mentoring the players, so I think it's a really good trade for them.
Okay, so here's what Max Scherzer told The Athletic. I thought this was interesting. He went in and talked to Billy Epler, the president of baseball operations for the Mets, before the trade happened. And he said, are we going to reload for next season, 2024? And he said, Billy said, no, we're not. Our vision now is for 25, 26. So we're going to be making trades around that. So how do the Mets, Heath, go from $353 million in the payroll this year to now they're bagging it? How should baseball fans read that?
Well, I think the Mets fans, I'm kind of a fan too. It's sad to see. I mean, there's a lot of high hopes this year, and it didn't go the way that the Mets wanted. And for them to basically come out and say, hey, we're not going to try to, next year we're going to try to do it in 3 or 4 years. So, what does that tell the fans? That we're not going to try the next couple of years? So, not the players are always going to try, but management. So, it's a little frustrating, I think, as a fan, but some clubs have to do that. I don't think the Mets do, but some clubs have to do that.
Who gets the blame for that situation? Steve Cohen's spending all the money. I mean, he's saying, hey, let's get players. How did they not get the right players? They just struggled.
It's hard because, honestly, it's got to go down to, I don't know if it's baseball operations there or GM. In my day, the GM made all the decisions. Now I know we have baseball operations, whatever. But whoever's the head guy of the baseball team. So the head guy, if it's the baseball operation guy, because every team doesn't have one, or it's the GM, it really needs to be, it's not the owner. The owner buys into who's ever going to run the team and whoever designed the team and said, hey, let's go get this guy. Hey, owner, how much money do I have to spend? And this is the team I want to put together. This is what I want to do this year. This is what I want to do next year and the years down there. So as a GM, you have to think of not just 23, but you have to think of 24 and 25 and also 26. You have to think of all those years. If you're just thinking about 23, you're going to get caught with your pants down, kind of like the Mets have.
Heath Bell on tonight, his podcast. You can find it, Ring the Bell, former Padres closer and all-star in the majors. He's on Twitter at HeathBell21. So I'm going to go to my Cubbies, Heath. I've been a Cubs fan because the WGN days, and I watched Andre Dawson and the whole thing, and I loved it. So I've got something to say. The Cubs are one game above 500. They decide to pick up a couple of players. They looked like they were going to be sellers again because they've gotten rid of guys the last couple of years. So they're trying to make this run. They're 3.5 out of a wild card. Is this why the extra wild card works?
I think that's definitely why the wild card works, because the Angels are kind of in the same boat where, the Cubs maybe a couple years ago would be like, we got no chance, let's just sell. But the guys are playing together. I've watched the Cubs the last couple of weeks, and they're starting to play as a team. Everybody thought Bellinger was going to be gone, this and that, but they're starting to come together, and maybe they're going to get hot at the right time. So you want to help some of those pieces to the puzzle right there. So, management is looking, like the GM / baseball operations guy is looking for 2023 and then possibly 2024. Like, he's not just looking at this year. He's like, okay, we have a chance for a run. And also, it's going to benefit our players for next year, and maybe we won't get off to a bad start, and maybe we can get some free agencies after the end of this year because of the run we do, or, there's a lot of different options. So it's going to be interesting. That's why I like the extra playoffs, and I think it's going to be fun come the end of September.
Would you, if you're the Cubs, big market, they've been sellers, now they're kind of building, would you try and go get Shohei Ohtani free agency?
Well, anybody that goes get Shohei is looking for a lot, looking to be there for a long time. So a lot of factors have to go in to get Ohtani, because you're basically getting one of the best hitters in the game and one of the best pitchers in the game. So, I think there's going to be a lot of talk and a lot of teams out there. If I was the Cubs, personally, I think you need a little bit more than Shohei Ohtani. You need, probably 2 other guys besides him. But, maybe they're looking like we get Shohei and then we have, maybe we get 2 other guys, or we see some future in our young prospects that are going to turn into, studs. And they, will have some homegrown guys. So there's a possibility that the Cubs will make a run for Shohei.
One more hitter on a pitcher, Heath. What about Verlander? He was just with the Astros, goes to the Mets. Mets say, we'll send you back to the Astros. What did you think of that trade?
Well, I was a Verlander fan until he went to Houston, and then, then all of a sudden he was really quiet with the whole trash can thing. But, here's the thing with Verlander. Verlander was not pitching well in Detroit. And then he had, I think, his last 10 games, he was doing really well. And then he went to Houston and took Houston and got a World Series. So if you look at the Mets, the last 8 or 9 games, Verlander's done very well pitching. It's kind of like the days when he was with Detroit. So maybe he just had a rough start, maybe New York or whatnot. There's a lot of different factors there. But he's starting to pitch really well lately. So I think it's going to be a good pickup for Houston, for Verlander to go there. He's going to be comfortable. It's almost like he was home. But the last 8 or 9 games, he started pitching really good. And, the overall ERA and numbers don't look good. But if you just look at his last few games, he looks like the Verlander that we know.
Give me your best team in the AL right now as we sit, best team in the NL, just right now.
Right now, I think it's Baltimore Orioles. I just love their young talent and how they just win, and nobody talks about them. I just love that, where they just go out there and they win ball games. It was kind of like early on with Tampa, but I'd say Baltimore is the best team right now. And then in the National League, you know who I think the best team is right now, and a lot of people would probably say the Diamondbacks or the Braves, and I think the Braves are a really good team. But
You're going to say the Dodgers?
No, I think the Dodgers have a lot of issues. I really do.
Okay.
They're up there. They just had some injuries, and they've had some issues, and they're not the Dodgers we all know. But the team that I kind of like and I think is the best team right now is Cincinnati. They're they're running all over the place, and they're playing as a team. They're just happy. They're just going out there, and nobody gives them any credit. I mean, the Braves are, I think, talented and doing great, but Cincinnati is just something for me. There's just something Cincinnati has that the Braves don't have that just stands out for me right now.
Heath Bell tonight, former closer for the Padres, Major League Baseball pitcher. Find his podcast, Ring the Bell, talking Major League Baseball and the Padres. Heath, thanks for hopping on. Always appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, and take care.
Thanks a lot. Heath Bell on the Nate Brown Show, former Major League Baseball All-Star closer, former San Diego Padres closer, one of their best throughout that organization. His podcast, Ring the Bell. Heath Bell on tonight. Okay, so I got a baseball discussion I want to have with, I'm a Cubs fan. I specifically today, I'm on the show and I'm looking at it. I wore my Chicago Cubs World Series t-shirt. Okay, I've saved this thing. I have it. I bring it out sometimes. I wear my Chicago Cubs World Series t-shirt 2016. And I got to thinking this morning, why am I not as passionate as I was during those days? Not just as they won, but the pursuit of trying to win. I know that's part of it. It's the pursuit of the 108-year drought and the whole thing. But my passion was great for baseball with the Bartman days and that pursuit. And then Joe Madden got these young guys, Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo, Javi Baez. I mean, it was just really, really fun. And I was engaged. I was watching the team. And this was the team that ended up breaking through. And so I started thinking about this. I'm going, here are my Cubs this year. Right now, they're back in the postseason hunt. They're 3.5 out of the wild card. I'd take that right now. I've been disengaged. They've sold off players, starting with the World Series team. They broke them up. So there's some great players, great fan favorites. And I lost that connection with my favorite Major League Baseball team. There's a couple of reasons. They break up the team, so they take all the players. That happens in Major League Baseball, and it's a killer because you start from zero. It's like you Royals fans. You know, the Royals win the World Series out of nowhere, and then now where are they? I mean, it's just, it doesn't happen hardly in any other sport. I believe that's a major factor. Major League Baseball is, hey, we win, now we're going to break this whole thing up. And I look at it and say, now I need to know, how can I also find the Cubs? I know I'm an old man, so when I'm growing up, I'm watching the Cubs and I'm seeing them on WGN. You couldn't make a better summer day for me. Playing Little League Baseball, coming home and watching the Cubs with Harry Carey and Steve Stone on WGN. I mean, that's the life. And now today, you got MLB TV. Some of the games are blacked out. You got to pay for this and you got to stream that. They're not on anymore. Not just my Cubbies, but really, it's hard to find your team unless you're regional. So the game has become even more regional than it was. I mean, people say, hey, baseball's kind of lost popularity. It's the regional aspect. There's always been a little bit of that, but now it's really regional. And so I said, they don't provide enough national marketing and promotion of the teams, the players, the big brands, the rivalries. You just don't see it anymore. And you can catch a baseball game, Sunday Night Baseball, and that's about it. You don't just happen to find a baseball game very often anymore. So I think baseball's taken that route. Traditional TV, not great. They don't have great outlets, consistent outlets. The format of having to break up these great teams. And now here my Cubbies are back in the hunt. And I'm admitting to you, I said, I got to get back on board. I mean, I follow them, but they've stunk. And so I'm disengaged by July. No longer. We're back on board with Cody Bellinger, Dansby Swanson, and the new look Cubbies. Do you like the Cubs, anybody, or am I the only one? Okay, I'll keep you updated. Into the drive at 5. I want to hit this. So Florida State trustees had a meeting today. And, it's just like all these big wigs, they get in the room, and they're like, okay, what are we going to do? You're not going to believe what Florida State trustees were saying on the record today. And what's that all mean? Next.
Did you miss an interview or great segment on The Nate Brown Show? Just find The Nate Brown Show podcast and listen wherever you download your podcasts.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
First Gold Gaming Resort welcomes everyone to this year's rally. First Gold is the perfect pit stop as you're coming into Deadwood for great food, drinks, and fun. First Gold's Horseshoe Restaurant serves breakfast all day, plus USDA Choice prime rib every night. Enjoy an ice-cold long neck bottle of beer for $2.50 or your favorite cocktail for only $5. Plus, First Gold provides free covered parking and tent setup all over our massive parking lots. Ride safe, and we'll see you at First Gold Gaming Resort, your first stop as you're coming into Deadwood.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. From training your pup to sit season to mastering those retrieval skills season. From clipping your horse for competition season to keeping the backyard birds well-fed season. And of course, loving your pets like family season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it. Because we have it all. Fleet Farm, built for real life.
Hey, it's Chris Broussard. Remember to catch the Odd Couple weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, let's get back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show, built by Consolidated Construction for more than 70 years. Consolidated has known each project is more than a building. It's a community. It's your business launchpad. It's your hard work coming to life. Consolidated knows each project really has a true purpose. So you want to work with someone that was born in the Dakotas, right? They've ingrained their business into this community. That's Consolidated Construction. Contact my guy, Jess Ulmer. He'll get you started. He'll get you to work. Start online at onecalltobuild.com. Onecalltobuild.com. Consolidated Construction. The Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Ready to roll with Charlie Floor coming up. South Dakota Mines head football coach. Hard Rockers announced something last night I thought was pretty big. Pretty big news, actually. We'll get to Charlie Floor straight ahead. Okay, speaking of college football, let's go to this story I find very interesting. And I want to ask a question of the day here in the Drive at 5 based on this. So all this college realignment talk, there's only one thing that's happened yet. The Colorado Buffaloes are going to the Big 12. Now, there's other things that look like they're happening. Arizona Wildcats could be on the verge. Arizona State. Does that mean Utah as well to the Big 12? That's what is being thrown around. Now you go to the other side of the country. Let's go to the ACC. And that's where we enter the Florida State Board of Trustees meeting today. And I'm just going to run through some quotes. This was the Florida State Board of Trustees. Like, did these guys know that they're on Zoom here and they're not muted? I mean, did these guys know they're on the record? Here's some quotes from the Florida State Board of Trustees meeting based on basically Florida State saying, man, the ACC stinks. We need more money, and we better get it. Here's the president, Florida State president, quote, I think FSU at some point will consider leaving the ACC unless there is a radical change in ACC revenue distribution. Because that's the president. Usually those guys are PC. It's like, hey, President McCullough, your mic's on. Oh, okay. So he said, I think at some point we're going to leave the ACC unless there's a radical change in ACC revenue distribution. So they're saying, we need more money. We need more money, okay? Here's Florida State trustee Drew Weatherford. This is a trustee now, today. Quote, well, it's not a matter of if we leave the ACC, but how and when we leave. All right, so there's another one. Hey, we're out the door. We're just going to figure out a time. Florida State trustee Justin Roth. This is another quote right here. A solution under the current ACC TV deal is very unlikely. Leads us to what's next. Waiting is not the answer. Waiting is not the answer. That's just 3 quotes as you follow the Florida State Board of Trustees meeting today. What does that tell us? Florida State saying they're going to leave the ACC. They think they can get to the SEC. Okay? And then you had another report come out from Brett McMurphy today. It's a good college football reporter. We've had him on before. We've had McMurphy on the show before. McMurphy says this, that the Big Ten is in exploratory discussions with expanding potentially Oregon, Washington, Cal, and Stanford. That's exploratory only. That's now the Big Ten. So you put this all together. We are entering a category of the super conferences. SEC, are they going to get Florida State? Are they going to get Clemson? Are they going to get North Carolina? My answer is probably. I mean, Florida State thinks they can do it right now. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, they're throwing it out of the Board of Trustees meeting pretty aggressively today. But eventually here, you're going to get to this super conference, SEC. What are they going to have? 20? 24? The Big Ten, if they added Cal, Stanford, Oregon, Washington, now you're at 22. I mean, so my question is this. Are you okay with a super conference monopoly? I mean, you would have the Big Ten and the SEC really, really running the show, and the Big 12 sitting here saying, hey, we're pretty good still, especially if we get Arizona, we get that Phoenix market, Arizona State, get Utah, Salt Lake City. So we got some players, right? Texas down there, TCU, Baylor, okay, Texas Tech. So we got Big 12s. We're in this game. They're going to be behind the Big Ten and the SEC, but you would have 3 super conferences, I'll just call them that. And then what happens to the other schools? And you run through that, whether that's the Mountain West or whoever. We're familiar with the Mountain West with the schools around here. Are you okay with a super conference model? That's my question of the day on the Nate Brown Show, by the way. If this realignment continues, what I see is super conferences, 24 members potentially. I mean, you got to remember the Big Ten was at 16. They're going to go to 18. They're going to bump that up if they add more of these schools. If they do add some of those out of the Pac-12, you're going to go to 22. So eventually, are you going to have 22, 24 members in conferences, and are we okay with it? What does that mean for college sports landscape? Let's see what you say. 720-1067 on the Nate Brown Show here on Fox Sports Rapid City. 62% vote, I don't like the super conferences. It will be a monopoly. 38% say it won't be a concern for me. Here's where I land on it. I'm a big college football fan. I get as excited about college football as I do the NFL. So I'm one of those rare guys. You know, we all like college football, but I love it. And I went to college football every other weekend for 4 years. And so I love the fanfare, the pageantry, the rivalries, the whole field. I think about it, I say, would that ruin my view of college football, the super conferences, and we just have the Big Ten and the SEC? It wouldn't ruin it for me. I'm going to tell you, I'm not like concerned it's just going to be a total mess and they're just going to run the show and that's the only thing that matters. They will run the show. They will have the most money. But here's why it's not a massive concern and mess for me. They already do. The SEC and the Big Ten, I hate to break it to everybody, at $70 million per school from a media deal, 70 to 80 million, it's going to be up there $100 million one of these years per school. They already control it. They already dominate it. These other conferences aren't really in the mix. You're going to say, well, what about the expanded playoff field? We'd be able to have all these different teams in there with 12 teams coming up. It's just going to be 12 teams from mainly the super conferences. It's really not going to change the landscape that much. What happens to the Mountain West? I don't know. Do I like watching Wyoming, Colorado State, Boise State, and that foot? Yeah, I do. Where does that go? I'm hoping it may lead to a NDSU, a South Dakota State, a Montana State. Maybe we have a joining up there, and I'm okay with that. But to say, well, the big boys are going to be in charge and it's going to be a mess, it's going to be a monopoly, I think it already is. I don't think it changes the week-to-week enjoyment for me of, oh, man, I wish we didn't have to watch another Big Ten game. Oh, it's another SEC game? It's going to be the same for me. I don't think it changes much. Back with Charlie Floor, South Dakota Mines head football coach. The Hard Rockers announced something pretty big last night. So I'm going to get into that with Coach Floor next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch the show live on Twitter at Nate Brown Show.
For 84 years, Pomp's Tire Service has been providing best-in-class service and value. We have grown to over 200 locations and are one of a few service providers that buy tires manufacturer direct. We are proud to pass those savings on to you, our customers. Pomp's, the tire and service professionals, family-owned since 1939. Through August 31st, get up to $130 in rebates on select Firestone tires, up to $140 in rebates on select Bridgestone tires, or up to $240 in rebates on select Goodyear tires. See store for details or visit us at pompstire.com.
No matter where your ride takes you during this year's rally, there's a Harley-Davidson dealership nearby. Black Hills Harley-Davidson in Rapid City is home to the Rally at Exit 55, your full-service dealership for motorcycle sales, parts, service, and over 100 of the industry's biggest vendors. Sturgis Harley-Davidson is stocked with select parts, rally clothing, collectibles, and more. Plus, get one-of-a-kind apparel and collectibles at Deadwood Harley-Davidson, Hill City Harley-Davidson, and Badlands Harley-Davidson and Wall. Ride safe, and thanks for shopping the Black Hills Harley-Davidson family of stores.
Are you thinking about a new home or owning your first home in the Black Hills? The local bank positioned to help you through every step of the process is Black Hills Community Bank. With local originators, underwriting, processing, and closings, Black Hills Community Bank is your full-service home loans bank. Black Hills Community Bank is ready to help you take the first step into your new home. Explore your options with Black Hills Community Bank in Rapid City and Spearfish. Online at bhcbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet buys cars. You heard that right. We don't just sell cars, we buy them too. We make cash offers to purchase local cars, trucks, and SUVs every day. Tired of listing online? Tired of messages? Or just tired of making payments? Whatever the reason, make an appointment at rapidchevrolet.com for a no-obligation appraisal. It's fast and free. When you're ready to sell, we're ready to buy. At Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
Here at Pizza Ranch, we love the unique ways other countries compliment their chefs. In France, they say magnifique. In Italy, delizioso. And in many parts of the world, it's a compliment to belch. Don't try that at home, kids. But at Pizza Ranch, we keep hearing the same thing over and over again when guests bite into our pizza. Our famous chicken. And all the favorites on our buffet. We're beginning to think you're all trying to tell us something. We'll take that as a compliment. Pizza Ranch.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you on board. You can watch us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show right there. Follow the show. Watch us in studio at Nate Brown Show 4 to 6 weekdays. Also on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. So you've got to subscribe to the channel. We'd appreciate it. It makes my daughter think my YouTube channel is a little more popular. I'm not a YouTube influencer. I hate to tell you. But you can catch the show there. And, of course, here on the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM on the radio side, and FoxSportsRapidCity.com. The Drive at 5 brought to you by Summit Automotive Group. When it comes to pre-owned vehicles, Stacy and Matt have the best selection and the Summit difference, car buying built around you. You need the right financing for your family situation, right? So the right financing, the right vehicle, start there at SummitAutoGRP.com. All right? I like this announcement last night. South Dakota Mines football going to go statewide, I would say, right? They're going to go on TV. I know those fancy TV guys, man. This is big time. I started out in TV, and I'm like, oh, I'm a radio guy. But you get on TV, you're big time. And the Hard Rockers are going to be on TV a couple of times. Head coach of South Dakota Mines, Charlie Floor, back on Fox Sports Rapid City. Coach, good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm great, Nate. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good, man. So, you know, I make jokes about that, but getting on TV, I say in all reality, this is something that I look at and I say, hey, you're going to be on Keloland CW partnership there. You guys got a couple of games. You're going to have a home opener on Midco. So you look at this, you say a couple of games featuring O'Hara Stadium. That has to be a big thing for your program.
Yeah, obviously really excited about that announcement last night, just for a program for the athletic department, and as well as for Rapid City. You know, we feel we've got a great product on the field, but we have one of the most unique stadiums we feel in the country, and no better way to show that off to really the region. And, you know, we'll open up against Valley City State. It'll be a Friday night game. It's a salute to service night, so we're going to honor all of the veterans and everybody affiliated with that. And then also it's youth night, so anybody that comes to the first home game from a youth sports standpoint with the jersey on gets in free to the game. So, you know, that first night is going to be great. And then the next day is actually the Rushmore Bowl, so you're going to get 3 great games there in O'Hara Stadium. And then the second game on TV is going to be our homecoming game. And, you know, everybody around this area knows how important homecoming is for South Dakota Mines, and just greatly, you know, appreciative for everything, you know, all the people behind the scenes that have made this opportunity possible for our program.
So Hard Rocker football, September 1st, that's the home opener, Valley City State. That'll be on Midco. And then the Hard Rockers get that homecoming game against Colorado Mesa. That'll be on partnering with Kelloland on CW here in the Black Hills. So 2 games, people can catch them statewide there, and even out of the state, regional coverage. I want to ask you about this, Coach, because I felt like South Dakota Mines, it's a specific target you're looking at. You got to have a great academic player. You got to be a D2 player. And then I say, though, how about the South Dakota Mines football brand? I think opportunities like this, just to get you across the state, how many strides do you think you've made as a coach, or how much focus have you put on, hey, we got to get this brand, I know nationwide, but also statewide?
Yeah, that was, you know, one of the first things I talked about in the interview process when I took the job is, you know, we got to go out and recruit our backyard. And when you go into our season this year, the 2023 roster, 40 kids on our roster are going to come from Colorado. And then our next highest state is the state of South Dakota. We're going to have 16 kids on our roster from the state. And, you know, that's really important to me. You know, we feel we've got a great brand over here on the west side of the state, and we want to do every opportunity that we can to make sure that everybody in the area knows what South Dakota Mines football is all about and get our brand out there, because we feel we do have a great brand, not only from a football standpoint, but academically, as well as the city of Rapid City.
What has been the reaction? Just give me an example from, you know, this West River, East River thing. You're familiar with that. What's been the reaction from the East River side as you made a concerted effort to get into those schools, get into those programs? There's some good football back there.
There really is. You know, the state of South Dakota, you know, obviously has put out a lot of great kids at all different levels. I mean, this past year you had the National High School Player of the Year right there in the state capitol in Pierce, South Dakota, and very seldom do we get that. And there's great football here, and you know, we've continued to make great strides over on the eastern side of the state. We've put more boots on the ground, so to speak, from a recruiting standpoint. We actually have you know, 2 full-time coaches, myself and Coach Winter, our defensive coordinator, that try and get into every high school within the state, as well as, you know, some student coaches that are doing some phone recruiting for us. So it's been big. You know, when we go out to different camps and things, a lot of the other coaches in the Northern Sun Conference have taken notice that we're spending more time over there and pulling more kids over to this side.
Charlie Ford tonight, he's the head coach. South Dakota Mines football. Hard Rockers announced last night they're going to get a couple of games on TV. Midco on September 1st, and then partnering with Kelloland, CW, the Black Hills. That's on September 16th. So let's talk some football here. I want to get a feel from you, Coach. You had a nice year last year. What does this roster look like, the off season for you? How do you feel here getting ready to open up camp?
Yeah, extremely excited for football season. You know, August is hit, football season is here. We're going to bring in 113 kids to fall camp this Saturday, so really excited for our new crop of freshmen to come in and join our Hard Rocker family. You know, a lot of transition within our roster this year. We lost 17 outstanding seniors last year. We have 8 seniors this year, so, you know, one big thing for us and our staff is just making sure we can mold those veteran guys and the freshmen that we still have a lot of great talent within their class, and just making sure that, you know, we can be as one football team when we step on the field September 1st.
I want to look at it. When you have experience up front, experience at QB, what does that do for you? You're an offensive guy. How do you feel?
You know, I feel great about it. We're returning 4 of our 5 starting offensive linemen. You know, all of our running backs are back. And then, you know, ultimately having the quarterback back within your system really says a lot about, our program, our expectations. The big thing I'm really excited about is, just our whole offense together. We lost a lot of production within the skill side of things at the receiver spot and tight end. So having the quarterbacks back is great, but I'm really excited to see what, Jaden and Jake are going to be able to do with the new crop of skilled kids.
I look at it and I say, you want to have competitiveness. How do you feel about competing for spots? Or are you a guy that says, well, we got our quarterback, and how do you feel about competing in camp?
That's the one thing that I really stress to our staff and to our football team. We compete every single day. There's a lot of things that we do in practice that put our kids in a lot of pressure situations. In the game of sport, you're always going to have a winner and you're always going to have a loser. And, we try to really instill that into our players. We do have kind of our starters, but we do a lot of things within our program to make sure that our twos and our threes are getting about the same amount of reps, especially early during the year. And, just watching those kids compete, and especially at the quarterback spot, they know there's only one guy traditionally on the field at one time, and we try and do as much as we can to make sure that everybody within the quarterback spot or other positions are getting the ample opportunity to go and compete. This year at the Division II level, they passed a 3-game redshirt rule, so any incoming freshman is going to have the opportunity to play at least 3 games before having to make the decision to redshirt. So that's really going to put a lot more added pressure to our veteran guys, because they know they're going to have some freshmen coming in that are going to have a potential opportunity to play in some games this year.
Let me ask you that freshman question. Are more freshmen today coming out of high school expecting to play right away?
I don't know if they're expecting to play right away. They're working a lot harder to get that opportunity. In the past, a lot of kids coming in knew they were going to redshirt, especially if you were a veteran football team. But now with this new rule, we've had more freshmen on campus this summer than we've ever had. We've had more guys engaged with what we're doing because they know they have the opportunity to step foot and put a jersey and a helmet on week one and be a contributor. So, I think just the hunger side of things is really, amped up that freshman class, knowing that they can have the opportunity to come in and compete in 3 games for sure, and then if not more, if they have the opportunity to continue to make our program better.
Hard Rocker head football coach Charlie Floron tonight here on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. I got to give you a little credit on this one. Tomorrow night, you're going to have like an extra night of football. You guys are coming in for camp this weekend, but you're going to have an extra night of football. A women's clinic. Tell me, where did this come from? Why are you guys doing this? What's going to happen?
So, great story. We sat in a staff meeting one day, and Coach Stevens, our offensive line coach, brought the potential opportunity up to me. He was at Utah State as a player and as a graduate assistant, and that was something that they did. And, after just kind of working through some details and talking with a lot of other people, especially in the area, we just felt that was going to be something unique. There's obviously a lot of youth camps. There's a lot of clinics for dads and for coaches in the area, but there was really nothing out there for the women's side of things. And, we're really excited about it. Tomorrow night at 5:30, registration will start at 6 o'clock. I'll introduce our staff and, our wives that are going to be there. We're going to do about 15 to 20 minutes worth of classroom, how we break down film, how we recruit, a lot of those things, what a first down means, and really try and give them the nuts and bolts of what football is. And then for about an hour and 15 minutes, we're going to go out on the field and we're going to put these ladies through some drills with our players. Our leadership council is going to be there. And again, just give the women in the Black Hills area an opportunity to learn the game of football. It's a great game, something that they've really never had an opportunity to do. And then to cap the night off, we're going to go down to Murphy's Pub and Grill and have a little social down there. They're going to get a free T-shirt. They're going to get a complimentary ticket to one of our home football games. We're going to do some raffle stuff, and then as well as a little social at the end down at Murphy. So just really excited about the opportunity. If anybody's out there still listening, we'd love to have you out next Thursday night and give our staff an opportunity to teach you the game of football.
That's excellent. So that's coming up, and the women's clinic for the Hard Rockers, you're going to put it on, and your wife's going to be out there. I mean, she's an hour and 15. drills for an hour and 15. Are you tougher than her, or is she tougher than you?
Well, it's funny. When I got home, that was the one thing. Well, what drills are you going to put us through? And she's all eager and excited. But it's August. It's football season in my mind. I know there's a lot of things. Post 22 is getting ready to host the Central Regional here this weekend. But August for us and the Hard Rocker family, it's football season. So we want to make sure and get everybody, kicked off on the right foot with football and get this season moving forward.
All right, that'll be fun. The women's clinic, first time I've seen that for the Hard Rockers, and Charlie Floor, the head coach at South Dakota Mines, on tonight. If you're interested, hit that up. It'll be a good night of football. Good luck to you, Coach. Good to talk to you. We'll get you on here as you guys really get cranking, and I know it's going to get busy. Thanks for coming on.
Anytime, Nate. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Charlie Floor on tonight, Hard Rocker head football coach, South Dakota Mines. Did a nice job there. Nice year last year. And they got some guys back up front. QB play, high level. That guy's been good out of Sioux Falls, transferred in, and he's been really nice. Really nice player. So you look at Hard Rocker football, they got some nice matchups coming up, and a couple of those are going to be on TV. September 1st, they announced that Midco Sports is going to be covering the Valley City game. September 1st, that's a home opener. And then homecoming against Colorado Mesa, that'll be with Kelloland on the CW. Hard Rockers on TV. Good stuff. We'll follow South Dakota Mines as they get going. And that women's clinic, am I going to have to have my wife get in on that? I mean, she's always hearing me talk about football. Do I want her to know as much as me? I don't know. That's dangerous. No, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Coming right back, we'll talk post-22 baseball coming up tonight, 6:15, first pitch. That's on the way. But first, Inside Sports Medicine. Hang on.
This is the Nate Brown.
Santa is back. It's Christmas in July 2023, and Renewal by Andersen is giving the best gift ever this year. First, you get 20% off every window and patio door, and get this. No money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. That means no payments until 2025. But act fast. Santa and the reindeer can't take the heat. This offer ends August 15th. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Renewal by Andersen's Christmas in July sale is here. Thank you, Santa.
For more than 70 years, Consolidated Construction has ingrained their business into the community. When you choose Consolidated, you choose a proud business born in the Dakotas that understands every project is much more than a building. It's a community. It's your business launch pad. It's your hard work coming to life. Each project has a true purpose. Consolidated will work to ensure that there's a quality experience for all who are involved. Learn more about Consolidated Construction at onecalltobuild.com.
For nearly 100 years, Connex has been providing the know-how and materials to help their neighbors grow. Through partnerships with builders, homeowners, and contractors, Connect Home Centers have impacted our communities, making them stronger and safer through support of local organizations and neighborhood beautification projects. Improving the quality of life for others is important to us. We are Connect Home Center, your hometown lumberyard lending a helping hand in building our communities since 1928.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
All right, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you on board. Busy Wednesday show. Good stuff tonight. If you missed some of the guests, some of the interviews, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It's up on FoxSportsRapidCity.com. You can catch all the shows there, but all the podcasts are there on Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts, however you download them, whatever app you have, the Nate Brown Show podcast available. Every show, every guest, right there. We line it up when they appear. You can work right through the show. Listen when you can. We appreciate you tuning in live here on Fox Sports Rapid City right now. Let's go inside sports medicine, brought to you by Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. When it comes to the expert care since 1976, that's the team. More access, better options with the orthopedic surgeon and staff at Black Hills Ortho, helping you stay in the game, continue your active lifestyle. Whether you're a weekend warrior like me or an elite athlete on the field, that's the team taking care of patients here in the Black Hills. Don't let an injury slow you down. Start at BHOSC.com. Learn more there. Orthopedic surgeon, Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, Steve Giuseppe on tonight. Steve, good to have you. How are you?
Doing great, Nate. Thanks for having me on.
I'm doing good, except for this, Steve, okay? Except for this. My Denver Broncos are back to camp, and first day with pads on, wide receiver Tim Patrick, who I'm a fan. He's going to be a player. He goes down with a torn Achilles. And so here's the thing. I'm going to talk about the Achilles. Patrick tore his ACL in his other leg last year. Now he tears his Achilles in his other one this year. What's a doctor's reaction to how can that happen back to back?
Yeah, it's pretty awful for a guy. I think, probably mostly bad luck. You do wonder, though, if maybe he'd been rehabbing that right side, really focusing on that, maybe hadn't been doing as much for the left, or maybe the right isn't quite as strong as he thinks it is, and he's been offloading on that left side. Because, basically it's nearly a year to the day since he went out with his ACL. So, poor guy, it seems like lightning struck twice for him.
Is there a sense, this is something that fans say, Steve, it's like, well, this guy's injury prone. Is that a thing?
Well, I think there's some truth to that. Some guys seem to get injured more than others. Yeah, it's a bad deal when he's had two largely non-contact injuries that have taken him out. I think it goes to show the stresses these guys are putting on their body day in and day out. And over time, sometimes our body doesn't recover from that repetitive micro trauma, and then sometimes something like this happens. Because I think he was just coming explosively off the line of scrimmage, but didn't misstep or anything like that, and just too much for his Achilles.
Okay, so kind of explain maybe how that happens, Steve, when you're talking from an Achilles, a torn Achilles, where I guess it can just happen, quick movements, explosive movements. How do you think this happens in an elite athlete like that?
Yeah, it tends to be a quick, explosive thing, and as you know, Nate, the Achilles is the largest tendon in our body, connecting our calf muscles down to our heel bones. So we're using that for pretty much any explosive push-off. So, you're accelerating off the line of scrimmage, you're going up for the dunk, or the weekend warrior version of the same, and sometimes it's just too much. And typically, there's probably some underlying disease of the tendon too. These guys are just always kind of flirting with top conditioning while overusing too. So sometimes their tendon has a little breakdown that they probably don't notice, and some of those collagen fibers get a little bit awry and a little bit weakened and maybe a little bit deconditioned, and can lead to something like this.
Dr. Steve Giuseppe, on orthopedic surgeon at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center on Inside Sports Medicine, talking Broncos. Tim Patrick out for the year, torn Achilles. Is it just me, or do I notice? I look at it and I say, okay, Kobe did this later in his career. I look at athletes and I say, are the Achilles late career injuries, or is it just a coincidence? Meaning, you get a little older, is it wear and tear?
Yeah, this one is typically kind of one of those injuries for the weekend warriors. It tends to be the 30 or 40-year-old that is out there maybe once or twice a week, maybe a little bit overweight, maybe doesn't stretch, doesn't warm up. But I think the other end is this athlete, the high-end athlete, where they're just putting so much use on their body. But yeah, there is something to be said for that, Nate, where I think some of it is chronic damage to these tendons that just don't have enough time to recover for the stresses we're putting on. And especially Tim, I'm sure he was working his butt off to get back from his ACL, really putting his his body through everything, and unfortunately, it's just a little too much.
What would you give as a timetable here, Steve, on a torn Achilles, the rehab, the whole thing, the surgery?
Yeah, I mean, I think a minimum of 6 months, and most of these guys, it's up to a year before you're back, being a running back, wide receiver type thing. But if you look at the data, there's at least a 2/3, if not 75% return to the NFL. Whether he returns at the same level of activity, I guess, is left to be seen. And like you mentioned, also the ACL is also contributing an additive type factor too. But I'm hopeful he can come back. But yeah, for this season, things don't look as good for your Broncos, Nate.
I know that. I was like, man, I was devastated for him. By the way, last one, he had a torn ACL. You just mentioned that. Torn Achilles. You're a wide receiver in the NFL. Are there mobility, speed, explosiveness, potential issues here moving forward?
Yeah, I think more for the Achilles than the ACL. The ACL we think of more as kind of a cutting, pivoting, twisting stuff, but I still think it should be able to explode off the line. I guess, if he's cutting on a real tight route and stuff, hopefully that ACL is for him. But, yeah, the Achilles, when it heals together, we hope it's healing 100% or near 100%. But physically, there might be a little bit less than that. And then mentally, I always wonder if there's something in the back of his mind when he's exploding off the line of scrimmage, too, especially come next August.
Steve Giuseppe, part of the orthopedic team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, orthopedic surgeon, BHOSC.com, where you can start your journey if you need their help. Steve, always good to have you, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate it, Nate.
Thanks a lot. Always appreciate the insight. It's a bad deal with Tim Patrick, Broncos wide receiver. Last year ACL right about now, and now the torn Achilles this week. He's out for the year. Inside Sports Medicine brought to you by Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, our longtime partner. And when it comes to taking care of patients in the Black Hills, that's the team. The region's preferred provider. Start at BHOSC.com. From the elite athlete to the weekend warrior, continue your active lifestyle with Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center and their expert team, Dr. Steve Giuseppe, on tonight. Let's go who's hot and who's not. Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Before he sends you out to baseball, coming up, post-22 baseball, Central Plains Regional opening night tonight for the Hard Hats against Elkhorn South. That's on the way. The Nate Brown Show with who's hot and who's not, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Hey, speaking of the Pizza Ranch, that's the place you got to get to. Everybody in town for the baseball, get to the Pizza Ranch. Take the team, take the fans. You'll love it. Best buffet in town if you haven't hit it. 2 locations, pizzaranch.com for carryout or delivery specials right now. In my Who's Hot category, it's another award for Simeon Birnbaum. This was just announced. USA Today just gave out their National Boys Track and Field Athlete of the Year. This is a National Track and Field Athlete of the Year. USA Today says it's Simeon Birnbaum, Rapid City Stevens, now going to Oregon, of course. Congrats on another accomplishment for the great, unbelievable runner for the Raiders. National Track and Field Boys Athlete of the Year, USA Today High School. Okay, in our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category, I'm just going to go this route because everybody's talking about it. All these teams that are talked about going to the Big 12 potentially from the Pac-12, and I was saying, I think the Pac-12 can survive. They're going to have Stanford. They're going to have Cal. They're going to maybe not, because now there's people talking. The Big 10 might say, we might want Oregon. We might want Washington and Cal and Stanford. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not, the only teams not on a list for other conferences being talked about, the only teams out of the whole Pac-12, who is it? Oregon State and Washington State. No, nobody wants the Beavers. Nobody wants Wazoo. Just go to the Mountain West, guys. We'll take you. We'll take you over there. So Oregon State and Washington State, so far, the only teams not being talked about as being interesting to other conferences in our Who's Not tonight. Thanks for listening. The Nate Brown Show in the books. We're back tomorrow at 4. Baseball is on. Jerome Wickersham, Dean Gurr, Matt Kearney, your broadcast team with the Central Plains Regional. The Hard Hats open up tonight, 6:15 first pitch coming up. Pregame on the way against Elkhorn South. The Nate Brown Show podcast going up right now. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Live callers